blog. 1999 marked a watershed in Nigerian political history as Nigeria returned to democratic governance. And from 1999 to date, we've had successive administrations, and all of these administrations have not been without different forms of drama, politicking, and there have been a lot of questions about if people actually have felt the dividends of democracy that Nigeria has been enjoying since 1999. But in the twist of event, in 2015, Nigeria witnessed a turn in political events. Now that turn marks the emergence of the emergence of the APC, defeated the PDP, who had been in government since 1999, and the APC established a government that's been in power from 2015 up until now. And Nigerians have complained, a lot of Nigerians have complained that since the APC came in, Nigeria has retrogressed in terms of the economy, security, human capital development, just name it, in every form. I said Nigeria has retrogressed. But members of the APC have said the reverse is the case, that the PDP, there have been lots of riots, that they're trying to clear the mess of the PDP and all of that. But our primary focus today is not just about the APC in 2015, but our focus today is about the current administration that is in place in Nigeria, talking about the presidency of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has now been in the saddle for almost 3 years and more and counting. And some have said that Bola Ahmed Tinubu have failed. So many have said, yes, he has not failed. In fact, he has transformed Nigeria. And some have said, no, things are worse. And some have said, simply because he said he was going to go from bad to worse. But today, we want to talk about we want to do an analysis, a chronicle of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration within the last 3 years. So the question here is today is, has Bola Ahmed Tinubu performed as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? And have Nigerians' life been better in the last got into power? How have things been in Nigeria? Are Nigerians really enjoying, or are Nigerians suffering? Has the economy picked up, or are things better off in the past than they are now? All of these are the things we'll be looking at. We'll also be looking at Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration in terms of the economy, in terms of the politics, the insecurity, and many other aspects of the Nigerian life. So for me to have this discussion today, I have two personalities today to have this discussion and to analyze these issues. I have Ambassador Austin Osage, a staunch APC supporter, a Bola Ahmed Tinubu supporter, and a stalwart of the APC, if I might add, and a man who believes that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed incredibly well. And we also have my guest, I have Godwin Alexander, a social commentator and a public affairs analyst who thinks otherwise. So we seem to be having connection problem, having my other guests join us right now. But let me start with in geopolitical block today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So the first question I want to ask is: has Bola Ahmed Tinubu performed?
Yes, he has performed. And I want us to get the context clear. He has performed, not he has performed
Mm-hmm.
100%, but he has
Okay.
gotten a pass mark. And based on what is going on now, with my view
Okay.
and
Hello, everyone.
critical analysis,
I want us to
I
get the
believe.
context clear.
Hello,
He has performed.
hello, can you hear me?
Not. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. So it depends on the context of what are people, how are you looking at it? And that's why I'm starting from the premise that I'm not saying he has performed 100%, 80%,
Okay.
90%, 80%. But if you ask me today, he has gotten a pass mark over 60%. And to my view, I want to see it from holistic perspective. For instance, let's look at the infrastructure. And I'm sure before now, many Nigerians can attest to it that today, if you are people that are not just sitting inside your house and be tweeting, if you are a traveler or somebody that move around the country without missing words, you can give kudos to him. Except you are not, maybe probably you are just in one place. I want to tell you that for the past 3 months, I've been to over 17 states in Nigeria out of 36 states. And I can critically tell you that if you're actually going on the road, you can attest that something is going on. That's number one. Number two, despite the issue of insecurity and some other issues in Nigeria as of today, because one of the reasons why the issue of this this farmer elder classes before the introduction of bandits. If you remember, in the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, what they were focusing on, were calling it elder farmer crisis
Mhm.
until the bandits actually now came in and probably the issue of kidnapping and all that. And as we are aware today, yes, they have not gotten 100%, but compared to 3, 4 years ago, the the access of farmer to their farm. So you cannot. So it's not something that you can want in one sentence or in one breath completely discredit or say. So if you ask me today, as somebody that not just sitting inside a room and be tweeting, or somebody just sitting in a room and condemning, somebody that walk around, move around in all parts of the six geopolitical zone, I can attest to you that yes, we are on the right track, unlike what we had before. Because before now, if you ask me today, before now, we don't have a country. We have a country that before now, somebody was collecting money on behalf of government and was keeping it, and probably was remitting what he liked to government. So there are a lot of things, restructurings and things that is going on. And it's not something that you can get in a day. It will take time because in the process, those people that is affecting directly won't be happy. So they will be crying out. And we are in a country whereby it's easy for people to buy to sit at the confine of their room and probably put some fake and unverified news out there. But if you ask me, that under the present administration, yes, he's trying and Nigeria is moving forward.
So, in one of your submissions, you said the current administration has come to rescue Nigerians. Now, the APC was the last administration, and you're a member of the APC. So, are you saying Bola Tinubu came to rescue APC from APC? Came to rescue Nigeria from APC? Because
I didn't say.
Can you hear me now?
Don't let us use that rescue. I didn't say it came to rescue Nigeria. So don't let us get that. I didn't say it came to rescue Nigeria. A government is continuing. So this is the administration. At the end of his administration, whether 4 or 8 years, he will be judged based on what he has been able to do. So I'm just telling you what he has been able to do. I'm not saying he's coming to rescue. He's not going to rescue anybody. He's not coming to rescue anybody. He's a Nigerian too. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, government will continue. So this is administration now. You asked me about his administration. I'm telling you what he's doing. Yes.
Okay, you said Bola Tinubu has performed as president, has performed at least 60%. You see, the primary essence of government, yes, the primary essence of government, based on Section 14, subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution, says security and welfare. They are the primary reason why the government is in place. So, going by this section of the Constitution, which says that the primary essence of government, that means every other thing is just an addition. That the primary essence of government, security and welfare. How would you assess Bola Tinubu's performance within the last 3 years with regards to security and welfare of the people? Now, need I remind you, do I need to remind you that, look, right now Nigeria is still the poverty capital of the world. since the APC came in 2016. And now the food inflation is of close to 40%. Inflation is high. Nigeria is under multidimensional poverty. So, would you say Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed in this regard in terms of security and welfare? Let's start with security before we go to the welfare. So, would you say that given the dimension of insecurity in Nigeria right now, would you say Bola Ahmed Tinubu has performed in that area?
Yes, not that you have performed. You know, when you say somebody has performed, it's a past tense word. When you say somebody is performing, that means he's in the process of that. And let me tell you one thing. I think I want to remind our viewer and our listener that the insecurity problem in Nigeria started in 2009 when we had the advent of Boko Haram. Yes, it's not. If you look at it before now, I want you to look at the 2 days the report of the U.S. military that just left Nigeria. I don't know if you listen to that report. The report was that between December and now and June, they were able to eliminate 19 commanders of Boko Haram. ISWAP, they call it ISWAP, according to the person that briefed the president from. And he said they have killed. He said they were surprised that the weapon that they got in Nigeria, that they have to send another cargo aircraft to come and take it. So it should tell you that today, and that was, if you remember, during President Jonathan, one of the things that President Jonathan was fighting in 2012 and 2013, he was talking about the proliferation of small arms, the way those arms were going. See, now I will tell you today, if you are saying the security, I will tell you today in Nigeria, according to the chief of the Minister of Defense, when he was the chief of defense staff, he said something, and that thing is very critical. What did he say? He said Nigerian border is being fenced. People are laughing when he said that until that border is being fenced, we are not going anywhere. And I will tell you today, majority of states in Nigeria today don't even have a security. So when you are saying he has the security improved, the security problem does not start today. It does not start 4 years ago. It does not start 8 years ago. It started in 2009. And to the glory of God, I think me and you were in Maiduguri then when the Boko Haram started. So Nigerians have been treating this with how they call it, with levity. They are not taking it serious. And I talk to you today, almost all the forests in Nigeria, bandits are there, criminals are there, and most of these criminals are not from Nigeria, because these are places that have been left ungoverned for many years. So it's not an issue of maybe holistically you can just come into a conclusion of say you can't access that. And you are saying something about the food inflation. Yes, always be a food inflation if people don't have access to their farm. It's better this year because we are here this year, and maybe late last year, at least people for the first time last year, some people were able to go to their farms, unlike before. So it's not a problem that whoever administration that come today, it's not something that you just call, except you are the one that brought them. It's not something you are just calling somebody and say stop this, they will stop it. You know, it's a problem that even during Jonathan, between 2009 and 2009 and 2000, Muhammad Yusuf was killed 2009, August 2009. Between 2009 and today, that's the problem we are facing. So tell me today in the chat, the white people that came, they strike in Sokoto and they strike in the Chad. So imagine they have to strike all the region in Nigeria. Look at what they are going to record. So according to them, that they were leaving because the critical aspect of the whole thing, they believe that the Nigerian military with their corporation can continue with it. So it's not a report somebody will just sit somewhere and said, hey, no, the problem is
all
not
right.
today.
You see,
and I don't think there's any president that will end it today.
Okay, I also happened to read part of that report, and that report, the primary focus of the U.S. then in that report was about the fact that they've been able to stop the killing of Christians in Nigeria, and then part of that report they said the kind of ammunitions they found were, you know, they've not seen that type since 9/11. I saw part of that report. So, and part of that report talks more about ISWAP and the Fulani militia and the activities within the Benue Basin, Southern Kaduna, and the rest of them like that. So now, one thing that has refused to go, and if going by the narration of Kau Baraje, the national chairman of the 5 renegade governors that went to the APC, in 2015, he said, I wish I could pull up that report. He said at one point that the bandits were brought in by the APC. But that is a story for another day. But the bandits are still holding sway, attacking people, kidnapping. What is the current government doing about the banditry? Or would you, in that regard, would you still give it a 60% pass mark?
That's what I'm saying. I think you have said part of it. When you say, let me give an example of what is happening. Today, I was in Kaduna last 2 weeks, and along the line, we met a checking point. We met a checking point. And when we got to the checking point, I saw when they were profiling some people, probably trying to check them. And in my mind, I remember in my degree then in 2009 and 10, where if you are traveling from whatever before you enter, they will be looking at you and all that. I want to believe today, whoever that think they have brought what do you call it, they have brought this particular knowledge to Nigeria. It's left for those, because Balaji did not say this now. Balaji said this in 2014. He said in 2015, immediately he won the election. Then the then president Jonathan then, because if I were Jonathan then, there are a lot of things that work against him, which we are not even actually discussing about him now. There are a lot of things that actually work against him then. And these are conspiracy there, which he allowed, if you ask me. Because I'm sure there should be a lot of intelligence reports about this, about that, which he didn't take it serious. But that is not even our point of discussion this evening. Mine is this. Yes, whichever way you want to look at it, is 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 not something that you can probably say, okay, this is how it happened. The commander of what do you call it, this security network in the southwest, Amateku, in those states, he caught some people within Owo and Edo Aziz, in the 4 Aziz. I think that should be last month. Because he granted the interview, and part of the interview he granted was that they were surprised that when they were profiling some of those people, some of them said they have been in that bush for the past 6 years and they don't know how they got there. So when you are saying maybe the issue of the issue of security is even now that we are trying to take it serious. Before now, people are not seeing reason why probably they need to take security serious. And I will tell you today, as I'm still saying, except you are not here, no matter any government that is coming today, the security is so bad, it's so porous that almost everybody have access to this country. I don't know if probably you are traveling through Kano, through Sokoto, through Kebbi.
Now,
So you don't have issues. So,
are you blaming the people? Are you blaming the people for the fact that bandits have access to the country, or you are blaming the government for its inability to do what is right?
it's not in that the government is trying their own best. You see, when you say I'm not blaming government, at the same time, well, I will blame government partially, not this particular government, because it's not a problem that started today.
Why?
Like that,
Okay, it's not a problem that started today. Government is a continuity, and the
yes,
primary essence of government is security and welfare. So we know the problem did not start today. Even in some other countries where you have government, where you have problems, these issues probably did not start with that present administration. But what is the current administration doing to mitigate the crisis, to mitigate the problem? The problem may not have started with them. With Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but he has been in government, considering that he's the national leader of the APC since 2015. So, and now he's the president of the Federal Republic. So, whether if he fails to do it, it will be on his record that he was president for 4 years or 8 years, and the issues escalated. So, in this regard, are you not trying to admit that the Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed in providing security for Nigerians?
it has not failed. If I should tell you between in the last 3 years, before he came on board, you can't travel to the Kaduna Road, you can't travel to Jos Road. Today you can go even in the night because the road is good. Between from Zuba, from Abuja to Kaduna now, it's to Kano. You can drive, you can drive anytime now. Before he came on board 3 years ago, he came here 3 years ago. Before he came on board 3 years ago, you can't travel that road. You can't travel to Benin in the night. You can't travel to Jos in the night. Today you can travel. So it's not an issue that maybe it's the government that will come and fold it down. No, they are trying their best. So ask people that not
Okay.
people that are sitting on one place and be talking. Ask people that travel on
You
that
know,
that can they travel now or not.
you know that there's a difference between remedial solution to a problem and permanent solution to a problem. Because right now, as we speak, a lot of villages and towns in the southwest, from Kwara to Ogbomoso and to all those axes, those areas have been vacated because of the incessant activities of bandits. So, in this regard, don't you think the government has failed?
It has not failed. Most of these places you are seeing now is even just being exposed. There are a lot of I was born in Kwara State, you are saying today. I grew up in Ilorin and Ibadan. Today I will tell you that before now, there are a lot of villages there before now, no police station. You can walk. I just came back from Ibadan last week. You can walk more than 100 kilometers. There's no police station in a village, in a town. Some villages have only police posts. So it's not a problem that maybe you can just probably start today. And that was why you see they are talking about the issue of state policing. Because if there is a state policing, most of all these villages have their vigilante groups that actually they are like they serve like police in that place. So if there's a government intervention and there's an empowerment to that regard, automatically there's going to be security there. I will tell you today, between between Egbe, between Egbe to Egbe, which is the boundary between Kogi and Kwara in Eruku, the village is Eruku, you can walk over 40 kilometers. You can't see a single police on the road. So the question you now ask me is that before the reform now, how many police do we have in Nigeria? How many police do you have to police people? Nigeria have less than, I don't think Nigeria have up to 500,000 police. I don't think so. We don't have up to 500,000.
We don't
So to
have,
police two,
yeah, we don't have to fight for it. But you find out
yes.
that
So
almost 20% of
imagine
the
I'm
entire
coming.
police force, they are with the VIPs.
That's what I'm saying before now. It's just this IG that came, this particular IG. Immediately he resumed office, he returned all of them. Yet he's even finding it difficult. But we are seeing some of them now, I think going back to those big men that they don't want to do anything. I know some of them that we immediately they made that pronouncement last year, at the early this year, they went back to their station. Some even find it to go back to the station. But I can see this year, some of them are even going back. So today, that village, Eruku, is the boundary between Kwara and Kogi Negbe. You walk over 40, 50 kilometers, no single police. And in that Eruku, I doubt they have a police station. That's Eruku. That we are talking about that one on the road. What about those that are in the villages? So, except we have, and to me, if we had state police before now, the issue of insecurity would have been less. Because in someone like me, if I don't speak the language and I enter a village, I'm sure they're going to ask me, where are you coming from? Who are you looking at? And all that. So these are things that probably the president, I'm sure, in his own wisdom, has said, come, with this reform, as I talk to you now, they have recruited how many thousands of over 100,000 constables, private constables, probably to support what the police
When?
is doing. And last year to
Okay.
this year. Now,
All
with
right.
this, I'm coming, let me conclude
Okay.
on this point. With this state police, if it starts now, or if he got his nod now, and it starts now, I'm telling you, in the next 1 year, there's going to be a collab because if there's a serious collaboration and synergy between the law, because we are still not going to be talking about that is another aspect of it. If you don't have a very serious legal backing, because Nigerians, as we all know ourselves, people take law into their hands. There are some people like this because they don't have access to rifle or anything. That's why you are seeing them. Immediately they got it, they become another person, even fighting the same people that. So that's another issue. But to me, right now, we are overdue for state police because if there's a state policing, this issue of insecurity now will got back to this level. And today we have technology now that it's easy to send a fake news by saying that they are fighting on that road, even when there's no fighting them. But because the road is bad. So what I'm actually trying to say is that even when you now have a good, that's why I'm sure the president is looking at, okay, well, let's have a good road. Because if you have a good road, okay, like look from Zuba now to Kaduna, they are putting light on that road. And if the road is good, it will be difficult for anybody to stand on the road. Before now, you see more than
Okay,
20, 30 no single.
issue about insecurity goes beyond just putting light or recruiting manpower. It's part of it. It's a way of fighting insecurity. But in a society where the very reason why people go into take to crimes and the rest, if those issues are not resolved, it's going to be a very big problem. And that brings us to the question of poverty and the welfare of the people. Please, to our viewers, if you have a question for our guest, please just leave it in the comment section. I'll read it out to our guest, and then we'll read out your question, and then we take it up from there. So that brings us to the issue of welfare, poverty in Nigeria, because oftentimes you cannot separate poverty, you cannot separate lack of welfare of the people from crime in society. And in Nigeria, it has always been the case. Right now, there's so much poverty in the land. And one of these has been linked to the removal of subsidy, which has made the food inflation to go up. And the fact that people, even in areas where people do most of the farming, the food basket of Nigeria, due to insecurity, people cannot longer do that. A lot of jobs are going, middle class is gone. Do you think in this regard, as about regarding poverty, welfare of the people, do you think Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the last 3 years, has performed?
See, I want us to get something clear, and our viewer, when you are saying the issue of crime, most people that got to crime, that they went through this crime, that they caught them, aside of that, most of them are not Nigerians. Most of them are not poor because the money and the kind of ammunition they caught with them, someone that is poor can't buy it. So let's separate that. It may be issue of somebody because most of all these guys, some of them even they claim that probably maybe their cattle was lost too, and they don't have any other. So those are not the issue of maybe because of majority of them that they caught. Okay, imagine somebody is inside the bush. You wonder what is even eating. And they have collected ransom of about 40 million, 30 million, 100 million, 80 million. That kind of person is poor. So don't let's separate the issue of maybe somebody was poor than no, it's not except they're talking about petty things that they caught and all that. But these people that are actually into this crime of kidnapping and the rest, most of them, the Fulani among them, the excuses they gave was that probably their cattle was close there and all that, they don't have anything to do. That is another way. Now, when you are talking about the issue of poverty and the rest, I want us to have one thing. Yes, I won't be sitting here today and I will be telling you that Nigeria is completely out of hunger and all that. No. But I will tell you today, whether we like it or not, part of the problem we have today as a nation is greed, both from the government aspect and the
Okay.
human aspect. And I will tell you today, you are for those of you that live abroad, tell me any country or the country you are staying in, you are talking to me from now, is their government paying subsidy? Because the removal of subsidy won't be a problem. The problem is that the management of subsidy become a problem. There's no country today, any country in the world that the government of that country is paying subsidy for some certain individual. It's not. I've never seen. So no one. So if there's no one, automatically we are going now to be talking about other aspects. So removal of subsidies and the rest are not actually the main problem. I get it now.
You
The
see,
problem is the
now
management.
it's
I'm coming.
yeah,
I'm coming.
yeah,
The
okay.
management of that subsidy become the problem. And before now, let me tell you information. Maybe you don't have the information. As I talk to you now, for the past for the past 9 years or 10 years thereabout, since 2014, this is the fourth 2013 or 14. This is the fourth time. This is the fourth time NNPC will pay dividends to Nigerian coffers because it has been that the money they are getting from the crude and the rest are being used to pay for subsidy. So this is the first time, I think 2, 3 months ago, but the first time that you are going to pay $1 into a Nigerian Federation account. So these are information that yes, if you don't have it, you think maybe the money, where is it actually going? It's actually going for debt. Some certain people will sit somewhere and they will write paper and say, we supply this, we supply this. Are you aware that today, from about 60 something million, 50 something million, what do you call it, liter, has drastically come less than 20 million that they say they are using per day. So these are development that it will not come overnight. It's not going to just come overnight, except you don't have those statistics. So if you have those statistics, You discover that before now, Nigeria was saying on subsidy, when we were on subsidy, they said we are using over over 60 million liters per day. As I talk to you today, it's less than 20 million. So it will tell you there was no subsidies anywhere before. And without stopping that scam, it's not going to be anywhere. Right now, this same president people are accusing today are saying it has not done anywhere, has made it that NNPC, every kobo of NNPC, whatever they receive, have to be paid to Nigeria Federation account. The same way it's done in other clients.
Okay.
So it's not an issue
All
of
right.
maybe
So,
somebody will just
all right. You're talking about the NNPC and how they're paying dividends to government. Now, are you aware it's under this Bola Ahmed Tinubu's regime that over close to 200 trillion was written off from the books of NNPC? Are you aware of that?
it was not written or see, don't let us miss it and misinform people. It is the same, it's the
Okay.
same aim,
Okay.
headed by Senator Wadada, the chairman of public accounts. When they check the books of the former
No, I am not talking about. I'm not talking about the recent. I'm not talking about the recent 210 trillion that Malakiari cannot account for as part of the
yes,
monies used for doing the turnaround maintenance for the refineries that are not
yes,
working. I'm talking about there is
yes.
a point. I think it was early last year or thereabout. I'll look for that report and send to you. Tinubu approved the writing off of this amount of
It's
money
not
from
possible.
NNP from
It's a fake
NNPC.
report.
Okay,
It's not in Nigeria.
okay,
Nobody have heard about that.
okay,
The only one
no
at the public
problem.
domain is the 210 trillion that they have been accused. And see, let me
Okay,
tell you, if it's not a
I
president that
will
is
send you.
serious,
Okay,
if it's not
no,
someone that is serious, it won't take that to bear. Say, let this be done. So I think you should be giving kudos for that. For that alone, that say, okay,
okay,
let this account be
all
audited.
right. Okay, let us talk about. Because you talked about there's no country in the world that gives subsidies on public utilities and other things.
Not on
Okay, I
public
don't.
utility. No, not on public utility. We are talking about petrol. No country in the world that pays
You
some certain
see,
people
as
subsidy. See, not
now
on public utility. There are
as
some
we
places
speak,
there are,
I
there
understand.
are things that we are enjoying
Let me
yesterday.
ask.
There are some things,
Yeah,
yes.
uh, Nigeria right now. Right now, Nigeria is in what they call the second implementation phase of IMF Structural Adjustment Program (SAP2), because they tried to implement this in 1986. It did not work. That led to the protest against Babangida regime. Right now, Tinubu is trying to
Yeah.
implement Structural Adjustment Program 2 in Nigeria. I'm sure maybe you're not aware. That is why,
I'm aware, I'm very aware,
one of the
and I will tell you I
okay.
will tell you the IMF report. Did you listen to the IMF
All right.
report? IMF report now
No,
is not telling us that
I,
the problem. Okay,
I will read part of it. I will read part of the report to you now. Just relax. I'll read part of the
okay,
report to you. You see, you talked about the fact that in some countries there's no. Now, let me just remind you. In part of Europe right now, if not almost all Europe, there is a to have a departure from petrol cars, because by 2030 they are saying that almost all cars you will see on the streets of Europe will be electric cars, will be hybrid cars, and they're already working on it. If you go to major cities in Europe, they are building charging areas where you can charge your cars. Most cars that are imported now, most cars that are used in Europe, I've had the opportunity of being in few countries. Most of the cars we see there, they are mostly electric cars. So if it's about that petroleum, that one is not part of it. And mind you, the reason people do not even feel the impact of petroleum products in abroad is simply because the government have put the public transport system in place. That way, as I sit here now, I can check on my phone. I can tell you when the next bus is coming. But in the case of Nigeria, people are really suffering because subsidy has been removed. Didn't you think the Bola Ahmed Tinubu should have put palliative in place before they removed the subsidy? Don't you
yes,
think
they
so?
put see. That's why I'm telling you that in analyzing this, and if you want to be objective, eh, there are some palliative. See, if you ask me today, which I think as to be
Can you
honest,
can you list can you list please list five palliatives that the government has put in place now to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal? Just mention five for the benefit of our listeners, just and
Five
our
out.
viewers. Just
Five.
mention five
Five out.
palliatives, five at least. Okay, make it three. Okay, list because
It's not three. There's no.
I'm
I won't
taking.
even say. See, no. The palliative they put in charge there was to ensure that there are some center you can get free kits for conversion of all these. See, and it's one of the problem we have here. The same country you are today, the system
No,
was
okay.
working. I'm coming. I'm coming. The same
So
system, the
sorry,
country you are
Ambassador.
today, the
So sorry,
system was.
Ambassador. No, so sorry. Let me rephrase. Let me rephrase my question,
Uh,
because this is very, very key. Because
yes.
in understanding the welfare of Nigerians as we speak today, in understanding the poverty dimension in Nigeria to speak today, because whether you like it or not, everything in Nigeria, excuse me, is tied to oil. Do you understand me? Everything in Nigeria is tied to oil. So if you remove subsidy on petroleum product, it's assumed you already put palliatives in place to cushion the effect of the suffering that the people might go through. So, and you said the government already put some palliatives. So please just because I'm this
Okay.
CNG you are talking about.
Yes.
I know the CNG is there, but which other palliative? Because even the CNG, because in some countries, if the government says people should use CNG for their cars, the government should be able to lead by example. No governor, no local government chairman, no senator, no House of Rep member, no governor, no minister, no commissioner is using the CNG. And now you're asking people to use it. And
They are
given the kind
using.
of
They, see, don't
the
let
weather
us
climate,
misinform the public.
the
They are using it. It's just that they are not using it up to. See, the problem. That's what I'm saying now. The problem we have today is all of us.
okay,
Are you aware that even
okay.
when some of those centers were giving kits, those kits were looted. Are you aware that some of the
Okay,
people, we are talking about people now?
now
See,
let's
we are talking
let's
about
not digress. Let's
like
not
you can't.
digress.
Yes.
Okay, now, okay, let's leave the CNG. Can you just mention some of the palliatives that this government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has put in place to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal? Just mention few of the this thing and few of the palliatives, because if palliatives are not there and you remove subsidy in one full swap, there's going to be problem. So what palliative has the government put in place to cushion the effect of the subsidy removal in Nigeria?
That's what I'm saying. That when he came on board, the first thing he introduced was that okay, let people go on conversion. But gas will be cheaper than the petrol then. Now, they brought a lot, like in Enugu State. Let me give you one place. Like in Enugu State, they brought thousands of CNG buses and cars to give people. And as I talk to you now, even some of the conversions center, people are looting those things. So the system we are today now is not a system that it accommodates everybody. It's a system that even the people you are trying to say you want to help are bad. See, I will tell you today whether we like it or not. Go and see what they are doing in Enugu State. The governor ensured that they brought their CNG and they rolled it out. Yet, people are destroying those cars. So, whether we like it or not, these are things that you just introduce newly until you go round that we can feel the impact. In as much as it didn't go
Okay,
round,
okay, apart from the CNG, because not all Nigerians have cars. You understand? Not all Nigerians are driving. Let's say the CNG is for people who do public transport, so they could help to mitigate the cost of petrol. What other palliatives have this government put in place aside giving people
no,
rights?
including
What
private, see,
other palliatives are this?
including private. If you look at the conversion center, mostly was for private, and government will reduce the purchase of the what do you call it, the kit. Let's assume it's 100,000. They made it like 50 or 40,000 so that you can have access to it. But the problem is this: yes, it has not gone around. Are you getting me now? Which I'm not speaking for government because whoever that is in charge of that particular aspect can come and speak on that because I might not have a detailed information about how the place wrong. But what I'm saying is this, the entire solution we require or we need or we want today is not a solution that will just come today. That's what I'm saying. Because sometimes we, as a human being, we over expect from people. Which these are people that sometimes we don't even check on them. Let me give an example of mine now. It's common here that because some of our people are abroad, you over expect from them. And I don't know how you are doing. Say to me, there are too much expectation on this government, of which we can't get there, except we want to deceive ourselves. Because you don't see, a Rome was not built in a day, not even just not built in a day, was not built in 100 years, was not built in 50 years. Most of the places you go are today, the system is working when you go there. You people are not the one that fix the system. So whether we like it or not, we need to fix our system here. And we have to ensure that the system works here.
What policy? So how is Bola Ahmed Tinubu fixing the system to ensure that there's
Good.
sustainable development in the future?
Yes, one of the aspects you have to, most of, as you are aware, most of our laws here are obsolete law, and you need to go through National Assembly probably to bring you new laws. So these are part of aspects that is affecting us. So let me tell you once today, Nigeria is sitting on a law of 1978, amended in 1999. In 1999 to now is about 27 years. Are you telling me that the same law that was effective in 1999? So any small thing you see in Nigeria today, they make amendment of 1999 constitution. What 1999 constitution? Until we have a new law that probably will look at what is the new thing that is invoked, what is trending now. We are not going anywhere. And in as much some people, analysts and the rest have talked
Okay.
about, in as much we have see that old constitution that we are using today, we are not going anywhere. I'm of the opinion that whoever part of the
Okay.
constitution review or part of the constitution I personally wanted today, I'm looking for a president or a governor that you do only one term. You won't do two terms. So that
Okay.
you focus on that your term.
That
You
that
focus on
is
that your term. That
yes.
okay, this is what you want to do.
That is that.
So
So
within that short time,
let's
whatever you're able to achieve, you achieve it. You won't come back again. Let another person come. On that, we can develop a country. But
let's let's go back to the issue of poverty. What is the government doing to mitigate the rising poverty in Nigeria? Because you talked about palliatives, and we've been able to establish that there's a correlation between the subsidy removal, poverty, and everything in Nigeria. So, what is the government doing about uh, uh, mitigating this rising poverty in Nigeria? Because even the IMF said there's so much poverty. While you answer that, I'm going to bring out a report that was published on July 2nd, which was 2 days ago, by the IMF about the Nigerian government in terms of appropriation. But before I read out a section of that report for you to answer, what is the government doing about poverty? What
government
palliative
is doing
has the government put in place to ensure that
yes,
the suffering in Nigeria is reduced?
yes, part of it is that there are a lot of grants to farmers. We have problems, and there are a lot of access to some little grants to farmers. But because of me and you, we are in the town, we are not farming, we are not doing anything. People don't know that. People don't have even because they don't care. There are a lot of people today that are benefiting. Let me give you an example now. Last last year, the this veteran journalist Babatunde Babajide Otoju Kolade Otoju, he went to in Kaduna State and in Niger State here to ask those farmers that tell us, have your farm improved? A lot of them came and said their has improved. It's just that see, until you go back to farming, my brother, nobody is coming to you. We don't even have a supermarket and somebody is taking and take someone to the supermarket. You can't buy cheaper, my brother. On two things that is
You
causing
know,
this issue.
you see. I'm glad you brought up this issue of farming. You see, when you talk about farming,
Yeah.
we live in a modern world today where farming is no longer the crude way of doing things. Is different right now. And sometimes for you to farm, especially where farming takes place more in Nigeria, in Plateau, in Taraba, Southern Kaduna, the rest of them, there has to be enabling environment. And we've not seen enabling environment within the last few years for farm because there's a report now that if care is not taken, Nigeria will enter into serious food we have serious food security problem. But before that, because we don't have much time right now, I just want to read a part of that IMF report that was published 2 days ago. It's the report says that it was published on Reuters, which is an international media, a reputable international media. And IMF said that the Tinubu-led APC administration failed to record public expenditures amounting to approximately 2% of Nigeria's gross domestic product in recent political budget. At the current valuation of Nigeria's economy at approximately 441.5 trillion, this figure translates to a staggering 8.8 trillion in public funds spent entirely outside the statutory framework of Nigeria's official budget document, unaccounted, unaudited, and hidden from the Nigerian people. How do you respond to this report of the IMF?
What aspect of the report?
Now,
because see, we have an issue here. Did you read the conclusion of the same report when they told us that our challenge or our problem is not even borrowing?
Now you see,
I read the report.
You see, this is the last part.
You are picking the paragraph of the report.
The reason,
or did you read
the reason. Now this is the main part of the report, okay? Because
I mean the entire.
We cannot bore our readers. We relax. No, I've read everything. I've read everything. There's so much problem with the report. Yes, I read the report. That's why
I read the report too.
It's a summary. I'm reading the summary. I'm reading the summary from.
What was the summary of the report?
Now the summary of the report here. The summary of the report here says that the Tinubu's government is not being. Yes, I read it. It's a part of the report I'm reading out to you. The IMF is saying that the Tinubu reforms seem not to be working, and that the fact that Tinubu's government is not being transparent.
Did they commend the reform?
You understand?
Did they commend the reform in your report or not?
No, they did not. See, I am talking about this particular aspect of the report.
Send it to you.
Answer to this fact.
Which one?
Now, you see, from the very beginning, when we started, I wrote out something. Yes. When you talked about, you said America gave a report about Tinubu winning the war against insecurity. And then you said, if America will say it, then it is perfect. Now, IMF, before now, I also have that report, which I can send to you. They said Tinubu is not implementing. Oh my God. Wait. No, let me read out the question to you. 2 years ago, IMF brought out a report commending Tinubu for removing the subsidy. Right now, this same report I read out to you now. I just don't want to mention the part that IMF said they did not commend the report. They did not comment the reforms Tinubu is doing, because they said the reforms is leading people more into poverty. That as we speak, as at the end of June, 60% of Nigerians are in abject poverty. I can screenshot that part of the report and send to you as well. But I'm just talking about public accountability of funds, because the report talks about different things, okay? We cannot bore our listeners with the different aspects of the report. I'm only reading an excerpt, just a small part of the report, that talks about lack of accountability to the tune of 8.8 trillion. How do you respond to that?
The report I've not seen, so I can't even complain on that. But at least what I saw in their report.
But you just said you read the report and you have a copy of the report. You said
no. I said this one you said. I've never seen where they wrote it there that 8 point something trillion. And
this was published 2 days ago on the 2nd of July. I can send you a PDF of that, or I can send you, or what I will do is I will send you a link to that report on Reuters, an international journal. I will send you that report.
Not journal. It depends on they can write what they want to see. And I think if you look at it, I'm going to wait. See, part of their problem is the Stemmer that left in UK. The report of we have a problem here, and even me, I'm of this opinion before now. Are you getting me now? that even the IMF and the rest, if our president, their model is not our model. As I talk to you today, in Nigeria today,
Okay,
Nigeria does not have
so far,
yeah.
Nigeria is implementing the IMF and the World Bank models. If I can take you,
No,
I
World
can
Bank
take
is
you
even
back
better.
to.
World Bank is even better. Wait, World Bank is even better than
You
IMF.
can't
Why are they better
separate.
is that
You
I'm coming.
can't
Wait.
separate. You can't separate
No,
IMF.
you can.
You can't separate IMF from World Bank
I'm
because they are
coming.
Bretton Woods institutions.
Wait,
You can't
you
separate
can.
them. It's not
No, you
possible.
can. Because even I'm coming. Even President Trump. Wait, even President Trump has
How?
condemned their report. See, the idea is this, is that which aspect of report are you looking at? No, I'm telling you. To me, before now, even before I started educated, even during Buhari, I've said many times, I've worked with an NGO, which I believe that Nigeria does not have parameter even to measure growth here, locally. See, whatever some reports they are getting there,
now, are you contradicting yourself? You said we don't have parameter for measuring growth.
Yes.
But you have said that Tinubu administration is working, is performing.
Yes.
And then we talked about poverty. IMF is even saying that right now, Nigerian poverty level has grown over 60%.
Or the indicator of IMF. Many governments of countries have disagreed with IMF in some of their reports. But this particular report, the one I saw, I don't know the one you saw, the one I particularly saw, what they said there was different. What he said was that part of the problem we have here, are you getting it? Because borrowing is not even a problem. The problem is the management of that borrowing. I get it. That was the final report, the one I saw. I don't know the one you saw that says $8 trillion. I saw the report not today. I came out 2 days ago. And what they said in the report is that the problem of Nigeria today as a country is not because we have not even borrowed up to our GDP or up to our population. But the problem is the management of those. Let me give another example today. Many governments.
So are you saying Tinubu has failed? Are you now saying Tinubu has failed in the management of these loans?
How can they have failed? They failed where? Are you not seeing the infrastructure? I just
no, but you said, but you just said, excuse me.
No,
you just said
wait, no.
That
I said that. Wait, I said their own report. Wait, I'm coming. We are talking about the report. No, not I just said. Their own report was saying that we have not even borrowed enough. What their advice is that Nigeria should do more of management of the of whatever they have gotten. It's different from maybe you are saying maybe the president has done it.
So is Tinubu managing the funds?
Yes, very well. Those come and see infrastructure development in
Nigeria. Now, if Tinubu is managing the funds, how come the IMF report, based on their findings, says that 20% of our GDP, which stands at 41.5 trillion, that 20% of this is unaccounted for, and that 20% gives us 8.8 trillion unaccounted for. So how do you respond to that?
It's left for the government to answer. I'm not the spokesperson for the government.
But you are in support of the government. You said the government is performing. You said the government is
performing. So I don't want us to miss it. I just told you now. Let
me ask you this question.
Yes.
Let me ask you this question. Is Tinubu's government corrupt?
Yeah. It's not corrupt.
Is Tinubu's government corrupt?
It's not corrupt.
It's not corrupt.
Yes. Because there's no.
It's not corrupt.
Yes. No. It's not corrupt. There's no way. You see, you are going to assess this government at the end of their administration, because whatever you are saying now does not hold water. You assess everybody at the end of. Wait, I'm coming. Wait, during your exam, are you being scored during the exam or after the exam? You can score somebody in the
exam. Exam is a test of knowledge. And mind you, as a lecturer, if you go close to a student in an exam hall, from what he's writing, you can even tell if this person is going to fail or not.
Oh.
Do you understand me? As a teacher, as a lecturer,
in an exam, I'm coming.
You can go.
Okay,
relax now. You can go to an exam board. You can go close to a student. Just looking at his script or looking at the person's script, you will know if this person is writing
So
something well
that
or
means
not? You will know if the person is
at
going
the
to
time
fail
you
or
are
not.
coming. No, okay, as at the time you passed, are you getting me? When you are looking at it, an exam of 2 hours or 3 hours, are you getting me? And maybe 30 minutes to the exam, you are walking around and you are looking at the student, is going to fail based on that 10 minutes or 20 minutes that you passed. It, every exam is being marked. Every paper, every exam is being marked after the exam. So you judge them, you rate them after they have served their tenure. You won't rate them now. That's what I'm saying, that
You see,
in the process
why
now.
now?
No,
Why can't we rate it now
except you want to be
when
biased.
we are seeing
No, you
policies
cannot.
on ground?
No, you cannot, because part of the reason why you cannot is that every government have the way they performed. And whoever that, if they can't even assess that, it's just like now, if that's what assess themselves, they will assess themselves well. But if another government comes, are you getting me now? It's going to tell us, okay, are you not the one that's saying, okay, probably maybe during Jonathan, the country was this. So when they leave, whoever that come after them will say, okay, this
That
is
is
what you
because
are saying.
that is because for me, I am a public policy analyst. I study politics. I study
Yes.
policy. So if I want to tell you if a particular administration is making it or not, we study what is on ground. We study the policy. We study data. We study information we get
So the
from
policy, so
data
the new
collected,
policy that's
and then
coming now,
we
you have
look
not
at
seen them.
now. Okay, just mention one policy that will guarantee sustainable development in Nigeria under Tinubu. Just
Number
tell me
one,
one
or,
policy.
or na-
Just
let
yes.
me even give you one. Or that net fund alone, that student loan alone today have helped
Mm.
thousands of Nigerian students because of that net fund, that loan alone. Are you aware today now a Nigerian student now get
Okay.
20,000 per month? That alone
Tw-
is a
now,
sustainable program.
20,000 naira, 20,000 naira a month in a
As a
forty
stipend. No,
percent inflation.
no, not so. See, we don't know that. See,
Okay.
get it. When me and you are in
Okay.
school,
All
when we are in
right.
school, do you get it
Okay.
1 naira? Do you get a kobo
Okay.
when we are
Now,
in school? And today, these same people
These
are
are
coming.
loans.
These same people, wait,
It's not
this
scholarship. It's
same,
loans that's
I'm,
refundable.
that's what I'm saying.
Now,
I say
okay,
these same
mention
people now are
another
not paying a
policy
dime for
that
school
of
fees.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mention another policy of government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu that will guarantee sustainable development in the near
This
future. Just mention
infrastructural,
that policy. Leave
this
needful.
infrastructural, yes, this infrastructural development that is going on now. If all the country, all the states in this country today, that Sokoto to Badagry, that Lagos to Calabar, and this Abuja and the rail that they are doing now, if it's sustainable and it's being put in place, I will tell you today, in the next 6 years, in the next 6 years, I can leave here. I'm going to look out. I'm going to Lagos. I can leave here. I'm
Okay,
going to London. Are you aware? Are you
a
aware? Just 2 days
one of my
ago,
one
just
a
two.
viewer is asking. Let's take one or two questions from our viewers. So if you have any question, please
Yes.
just drop it because we have less than 5-10 minutes to round up. If you have any question, please just ask your question so that I can ask our guest here to answer, because where he is becoming a little bit dark, so you might not be able to see him clearly. So if you have just one question, please just drop the question. I'll ask the question and then we can wrap up this episode of Joel Political Blog live session. So, well, you have said a lot, and whether we like it or not, things are not what they should be. Especially if we do a comparative analysis of Nigeria in terms of GDP with countries which do not even have our level of GDP and per capita income, and how the people have their welfare done. Well, since there are no questions, thank you so much, Ambassador Austin Osage, for coming on this live session. And to my viewers, I thank you so much for your time. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for your
Thank you for having me.
contributions. And yes, yes. And next week we're going to talk about state policing and whether this is the right time for state policing and other aspects of the state policing in terms of funding, manpower, human resource. And I'll be having a different guest next week
I
to
want to
talk
lend
about the
my voice
state
to it
policing.
by next week. In the state policing, this is the best time
Okay,
to have state
all right.
policing. I want
Thank,
to have the
thank you,
lend my
thank
voice
you,
to it. So the best
thank you,
time is now.
Thank you so much. He has volunteered to be here next week, and he's going to be on a
I'll be here
Sunday,
next week.
Sunday evening.
Yes, I'm going to be here.
Yes, he has
I'm going to be here
volunteered.
next week. Yes.
Somebody said the darkness is part of President Tinubu mandate.
No, it's not. No,
you see, we didn't even touch.
Whoever, no, it's not. No, see, there's lights here. It's just that I don't want to obstruct. I told you, there's lights here. I don't want to obstruct other people.
We didn't even talk about electricity. We just talked about the fundamentals, welfare and security, which is the fundamental reason why the government is in place in the first place. Because they talked about the social contracts, you know. That is it. Next week we'll be talking about state policing and everything about the state policing. So we'll have our ambassador back next Sunday and another guest. Thank you so much for keeping tabs with Joy Political Blog, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you so much, and have